So I'm going to take a walk to the park. In this hand, I have the Osmo Action right here. And in my right hand, I have the GoPro 7 Black. Now the GoPro 7 Black has been my go-to camera ever since it came out. I love the GoPro 7. It's the best GoPro they've ever come out with. But now we have the Osmo Action. Now I was not a fan of the Osmo Pocket. And if you guys saw my video on that, I got a lot of hate for it, but I tell the truth. I don't get free cameras. I buy what I talk about, and I only talk about what I love. So if I buy something and it stinks, I either sell it at a loss or it gets sent back. Now I'm using the built-in mic here. You're listening to me on the Osmo Action, and I will now switch to the GoPro 7, and you're listening to me now on the GoPro 7's built-in mic. But what I really like about the Osmo Action, which I'm back on the Osmo Action, is the fact that it has the rock steady image stabilization, which I'm using right now, and I'm going to test it against this GoPro 7 because I thought the GoPro 7's image stabilization was smooth as silk, but this rock steady is even better. I have been waiting for a camera like this for a while. GoPro in size and dimensions ish, fits in your pocket, front facing screen and huge rear facing screen, simple user interface, as simple as it gets, touch screen on the back, rock steady image stabilization that is indeed as good as using a gimbal, perfect for vlogging, for talking to the camera, for taking with you everywhere you go. The button on the side that allows you to switch between modes, for example, video, photo, slow motion, time lapse, all at the touch of a button, and you can set these up to your liking, so when you call them up with that button push, they're exactly how you set it. The DJI Osmo Action is much more than an action camera to me. In fact, I will be replacing my GoPro 7 Black with it because I like it better. It has a longer battery life. It has just as good, if not crisper, image quality. It has the voice commands that work really well. GoPro has that as well, but the Osmo Action, they just work really well. You push the power button, it instantly comes on. There's no lag. The Osmo Action, to me, is what the Osmo Pocket should have been. I was not a fan of the Pocket. I was not a fan of the original Osmo. To me, this is the first camera of this kind from DJI that knocks it out of the park. For me, it easily beats the GoPro 7, and at $349, it comes in at $50 less. Let's take a look at this user interface because it's so simple, even simpler than the GoPro. Here you have various settings. You can change the brightness of the rear screen. You can set up your voice control, your quick buttons. You can pretty much make all major changes here, and it's easy to get in and out of these screens. You swipe from the right and it goes into your photo and video settings where you can change things such as the dewarp, the cine-alike to normal color space, your white balance, pretty much anything that goes along with your video. The frame rates, I read somebody said you can't do 4K 60 and get rock steady image stabilization, but you most certainly can, at least on mine, after I updated the firmware out of the box. You go to 60 frames per second, 4K, rock steady is available. So yes, this camera is brilliant in the fact that you can go all the way up to 4K. You can do 2.7K, 1080, whatever you like. It even goes down to 720 if you want to keep your file sizes small. So it's very easy to use. It's a very solid feeling camera, weatherproof, waterproof. You can go snorkeling with it, whatever you like. Osmo Action, DJI has created one heck of a camera here. It will be in my pocket every day. One thing I love about the Osmo Action is its front screen. I can frame my shot and I can see it easily. It's better than the Osmo Pocket because the Osmo Action is really like a real Osmo Pocket. It's got great image quality. It has better stabilization than the gimbal. It is easier to use, and it truly fits in my pocket, and I can drop it, I can put it in water. It's not going to hurt the camera. The Osmo Action, I'm gonna look at my GoPro right now and say, GoPro 7, it's been good knowing you, but you are now dead to me. The Osmo Action has replaced you. In all seriousness, I'm going to keep my GoPro 7 as well as the Osmo Action. But the Osmo Action is a beautiful, beautiful little action camera, and it's more than an action camera. You set it to de-warp, and it takes away any of that fisheye effect, much like linear does on the GoPro. These are much more than action cameras. You can use these for vacation. You can use these for vlogging. This is a perfect, perfect vlogging camera. Can you tell me your name? You say Bonnie? We're gonna pit rock steady against GoPro's, I think it's called Hyper Smooth. So let's give this a go right now. Okay, ready? Here we go. So I'm running. Which one looked smoother? I'm going to say the Osmo most likely did. Here's the jump test. All right. So while I love this new DJI Osmo Action, and yes, I have it upside down here, I do think the GoPro has a little bit more of a pleasing color tone out of the camera. I will give the GoPro that. But in all other areas, the Osmo Action wins for me. Ease of use, convenience, durability, the front screen, the battery life. The rock-steady stabilization is superior to the Hyper Smooth on the GoPro, the touch screen in the back. Everything about this camera just rocks, and it's not just for action. Sure, it makes a great action camera underwater. You can take this thing underwater, you can take it anywhere, dirt bikes, biking, anything, you know, extreme sports, but it's also just as relevant as an everyday camera. Bravo to DJI on this. The Osmo Action is, for me, their best video camera that they have released to date.